Hello everybody. My name is Harsh Behel and I'm the Senior Technical Engineer at Access Data. Today we will look at a widget called Parsers within Quincy. So Parser is one widget within Quincy which allows our users to take advantage of our integration with the other best of breed forensic solutions and techniques within the forensic community. We at Access Data understand that the forensic users have to use different solutions in order to extract the most relevant forensic artifacts from the different datasets and exhibits type. Hence, within Parser widget, we allow our users to execute the parsing abilities of those other forensic softwares on their choice of own relevant dataset, but again, all within Quincy. This not only allows examiners to use tools of their own choice on their specific datasets, but that also means that you no longer have to look at different software to parse different data. Okay, so now is the time when we look at what does the parser widget hold for us. So if you open the parsers widget within the Quincy, you're presented with this screen, which gives you all the information about our parsers, which we have currently within Quincy. So within Quincy, we at the moment have a direct integration with Belkasoft. So if you use Belkasoft in your organization to parse all the forensic chat artifacts, you can make use of those same capabilities within Quincy. So that means if you have a mobile forensic image, which can be from an iPhone or an Android, when you bring it within Quincy, you can run Belkasoft parser over it to parse all the data as if Belkasoft would extract from it. We have our parser which works on all the different chat types. So any form of social media chat applications you want to look at, you would be able to use Belkasoft to parse the data out of that application from that evidence set. So here is where you're presented with all the information about Belkasoft. The next integration we have is with the Compelson. So the Compelson parser allows us to bring all the different file types within Quincy. So you're allowed to bring in the Cellebrite UFDR files, which are the report files of Cellebrite. You can bring in the Android ADB backups. So if you have an Android ADB backup, which you might have performed earlier, using the command shell of ADB, you can bring all the images and run our Compelson parser, and it will extract all of the data which normally is represented in a Compelson report. You're also allowed to bring in the iTunes backup as well as a physical image of an Android phone. So whether you have created an image using Cellebrite, XRY, Compelson or any other mobile forensic solutions and you have a .bin file or the physical image of the mobile phone, just bring it within Quincy and use the Compelson parser or the Belkasoft parser on it to parse all the data. We also look at the raw file system, and obviously we do import the Compelson XML as well. The next parser to look at is image recognition, which allows you to categorize the pictures based on a predefined categories, but also it allows you to train your own categories within Quincy as well. You can also set an image confidence threshold. What that means is we give a probability to every image that it gets put to the right category. The higher the threshold you set, you might be getting lesser false positives, but again that increases the risk of missing key evidence as well. So by default we keep this threshold to 50%. We do have some advanced parsers like DB parser, which is the database parser, and registry parser within the same widget as well, and we also allow users to create their own parsers and bring in their own parsers within the custom parsers column within parser. We will be looking at DB parser and registry parser in another video of advanced parsing. Today we will be looking at how Belkasoft Compelson and image recognition works within Quincy. So in order to get them executed over the evidence, you have a few different options, and one of them is that you can process your data along with these parsers. So when you open the process data widget within Quincy and you customize the options of processing, you can see that we've got a Belkasoft parser in there. So if you select Belkasoft parser to be run over an image type, it will actually run the Belkasoft parsing and extract all the chat application data for you as explained under the parsers widget. We also, under the Quincy jobs, have the image categorization and the facial recognition parsers for you. So in case you're looking for any kind of faces, you will simply use the facial image recognition or the facial recognition feature to select that which faces do you want to look at within Quincy. Here are the two categories I have trained already within my system, but again, depending on whichever categories you have, you will see them populated here. You can also use the comparison parser from here, and if you have an APFS, you can use the APFS parser as well. Okay, so now let's look at how the data is presented when you have used these parsers to process your data. The first parser we will be looking at is Belkasoft. Now, how do you see Belkasoft data? So I'm working currently on a case Mantooth in which I have an image which does have some mobile data over it, and I processed it using Belkasoft parser. You can see all the applications which are passed by Belkasoft in the filters widget under files, message applications, and it will show you all the message applications which has been parsed using the Belkasoft parser, and against every application it tells you the number of artifacts it has passed out of it. While there are many different ways to look at the communication data, I prefer using Social Analyzer to look at the communications data. So let's look at all the Belkasoft data which has been parsed out. Once you launch Social Analyzer, you can see that it will show you all those applications which Belkasoft has parsed from the image, and then depending on whichever application you are interested in, or if you're interested in all the applications, you can just ask Quincy to pull out the contacts from all these different applications. Quincy will actually extract all of those contacts which you are interested in, as you can see here. And once it's done that, you will be able to then choose the contact of your own interest, and then visualize that contact, that how he has been communicating with other people, and look at the chat data. In this case, I am going to use an example of this WhatsApp communication, which I can see that the contact name is stored as me. It's from WhatsApp, and the number of chat messages it's got is 65. You can choose to expand or contract these labels. So if you choose to expand the labels and see the handler, you can simply click on any of the handler and look at the communication between these two people. So that's how you look at all of the Belkasoft data within Quincy. Just like Belkasoft, let's look at how can we see the data from image recognition and comparison parsers. For you to be able to see image recognition's data, simply use the filter widget, and I have used image recognition in this case on a case called images. So if I expand the tags, labels, and the labels for that case, you will see it has created two labels for me. One is for the image recognition and the other one for the facial recognition. If I am interested in facial recognition, I will look at the categories or the labels which it has created for the facial recognition, and similarly it will create the categories for the image recognition. Now let's open a grid and the viewer to see this data. So you can open your grid and viewer and then check whichever category you are interested in. If I am interested in the drugs category, I want to see where all the images which have been categorized as drugs, alcohol. So it will automatically filter down those images, and then you can see the images which have drugs or alcohol involved in them. And as you can see, it's shown you 3 images which have alcohol clearly presented to you. All right, so that works pretty good. And now if we have to look at the comparison data, you can see that if I go to the process data widget and I choose the case where I have processed comparison parser, or where I have used comparison parser, you will see that in that case I have imported a bin file, which is a clear indication that it is a physical image of a mobile. Now you can see that it's parsed all of the data from it. Here you can simply go to files, category, and you can see all the categories of files which it has parsed, and within it I have got something called mobile phone. So you can see it's parsed all of the mobile phone data for me. And then I can simply use the appropriate widget to see this data or view this data. So this is how you use parsers within Quincy. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.